What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to MTG Deep Dive. This is my first look, a deep dive into my first look with the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Now, Samsung, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to fly me out to San Francisco and to check out the latest devices. I got an early hands-on look, and you're going to be watching this video when it does go live on Galaxy Unpacked, as you can see right here. I was able to kind of check out the devices and have some footage for you, so kind of stay tuned, but also you can listen on as well and talk about what's new with the Galaxy S26 Ultra, because it looks good. I mean, this S25 Ultra, it's over a year old now, and it's not obsolete or anything. Like, this phone will last for many, many years. But the thing is, the S26 Ultra is a good refinement for devices like if you have an S23 or older. If you have this S25 Ultra, there's absolutely no need to pick up the S26 Ultra. It's kind of getting into it. If you want to see like my first impressions on my main channel, that's going to be up as well, and other platforms too, but this is more just going a little bit more in depth and talking more and more. And once I get the device, hopefully I will give you guys like another impressions and hopefully just a genuine deep dive and talk more about this Galaxy S26 Ultra. So with the design of the S26 Ultra, Samsung didn't reinvent it. And there's no need to reinvent a design every single year. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But Samsung did kind of clean it up, especially with the cameras. No more camera rings. There's a kind of camera island. Essentially what the Fold 7 had, they brought that to the entirety of the Galaxy S26 series. And when you look at the S26 Ultra, it still is an Ultra, but it's more rounded, so it fits more in line with its younger brothers, the S26 Plus, as well as the Galaxy S26. But it still has that 6.9-inch display. It's got super slim bezels. It does feel really premium in the hand. It's definitely really large. The S Pen cutout is still there, so we still have the S Pen, but it's kind of built in a way where you kind of have to make sure you put it back in the correct way. So you just got to pay attention to that. So it's a little bit more polished. It's also a little bit thinner, 7.9 millimeters. The Galaxy S25 Ultra is 8.2 millimeters. I don't think there's really a lot that Samsung kind of changed with the design that's huge, revolutionary. Again, it's just a subtle design upgrade. Yeah, they have better displays with display armor too. And for those who are wondering, there is no more titanium. It is built of light armor aluminum. So if you remember, S24 Ultra had aluminum, then they switched to titanium with the S25 Ultra, and now we're back to aluminum, but it's more sturdier than the S24 Ultra. It's the hardest aluminum they put in their devices yet. So we're gonna have to, someone's gonna do a drop test, but it's not gonna be me, and you're not gonna find it on this channel. But nonetheless, when you pick it up, you can tell it's definitely an Ultra. With the display, we also do get privacy, that new privacy display feature, which I'll kind of get to in a little bit. But with this display, 6.9-inch QHD plus AMOLED display. It's an adaptive display with a 1 to 120 Hz refresh rate and then 2,600 nits of peak brightness. So it's not really pushing 3,000, 4,000 like some of its competitors, but still up there. The brightness is still really good to use outdoors. As is talking about experience with the Galaxy S25 Ultra, at least, it's still really good to use outdoors. And based on my limited time of using it, it looks great. Like, it genuinely looks really good. Scrolling obviously was really good on the S26 Ultra in my limited use. Obviously, I couldn't really cater it to how I have my setup, and usually I bring my animation scale and transition scale to 0.5, so it feels even faster. I couldn't do that there, but you're going to notice how great the display is with the Ultra. It's not really surprising. Like, it's what you expect with the Galaxy S26 Ultra. I think Samsung in the display area kind of continues to own that. And then the performance on this is also really good. At least what I've seen, first impressions, It looks actually very, very good. We're getting the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, but not just the 8 Gen 5, the 8 Gen 5 for Galaxy. Now, it's still built on a 3nm chip, and Samsung has really focused on the efficiency and sustained performance here with this device. So there's 12 gigs of RAM standard, but there is 16 gigs of RAM. I believe if you go up to 1 terabyte, they didn't really disclose that, but if you do get the 1 terabyte, I suspect you get 16 gigs of RAM, which is great. I mean, if you pick up a phone with a terabyte of storage, which I have half a terabyte on my S25 Ultra, and for me, that's still a lot. So if you need more storage, go for the 1 terabyte. You're going to pay a real premium price, which we'll get to in a moment of how much they cost. But you're getting 16 gigs of RAM, which is nowadays, I guess, RAM prices are also going up too. But what I've noticed, in first use, it feels fast. The app launches are really instant. I think, again, multitasking is going to be really effortless, as is with the S25 Ultra. And I think there's a lot of great AI features that I'll kind of discuss briefly on that will make that multitasking even better. And it's running Android 16 with One UI 8.5, which was just buttery smooth. I have the beta here on the S25 Ultra, which, by the way, is also buttery smooth. But Samsung is definitely doing very, very well in the software and the performance game. I mean, they're focused a lot into the internals. If you remember Samsung back in the day, they had TouchWiz UI, and it was horrendous. Like, it was really difficult to use. I remember I had it on my Galaxy S Blaze, the T-Mobile variant of the original Samsung Galaxy S. It was super difficult to use, number one, and number two, it just, like, the performance wasn't there. It was really bad. So I'm really glad that Samsung is taking performance and software to the next level. And honestly, I think it's one of the best, and that's kind of Galaxy AI as well. Samsung is really leaning into this Galaxy AI again, and honestly, I think Galaxy AI or I'll put it this way, out of all the phones that I've tested and used, the most like AI features, I'll put it that way, that I've used in a phone have been with the Galaxy S25 Ultra. And I'm sure I'll continue that with the Galaxy S26 Ultra. There's AI features with OnePlus devices, maybe with Apple devices, although like Apple Intelligence was a big flop. But Galaxy AI is actually useful. Like, I actually use it every day to make my workflow easier, to be more productive, and that's what I like. There's more system level features, like there's more AI into the cameras, AI into everyday tasks. Like you're going to see how much Galaxy AI is really integrated, but it's not integrated in a way where it's like, here's all the AI features, like right smack into your face, use them. It's like built in there ever so subtly. So if you ever need a AI feature to help you out, it's there. Like if you don't need to go through settings anymore. You can go, well, I mean, it has on this 25 Ultra too, but just think like, for me, settings is like, I have to go through all of these like sub pages to find what I need. I don't need to do that anymore. I just search it up and it'll find it. And that's become really useful. That's just one thing that's made my life a little bit easier. And that's what I like. It's not revolutionary. It just feels like it's refinement done properly. I can't even speak properly with the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Let's talk about the cameras, because first impressions, the cameras look good, but we're going to have to test them long term and see how well they perform. And there's obviously hardware upgrades, but there's software upgrades too. But the Ultra identity is built around the cameras. Like if you want the best of the best cameras with Samsung, you go with the S26, in this case the S26 Ultra series. If you want just good cameras but not the greatest, you go for the Plus or the regular. So with the Ultra, Samsung kept the 200 megapixel main camera, but it definitely has a larger aperture, f1.4. So that's going to add in more light. I believe it's like 47% brighter. It's really good. And first impressions, I like how the results look. Again, we're gonna have to test them long term. Still got the 50 megapixel ultra wide and the 10 megapixel 3x telephoto and the 50 megapixel 5x periscope. But we still get that 100x zoom, which is great. And we've now come to that realization where megapixels isn't really the count. Back then, like 10 years ago, if Samsung threw in a 200 megapixel camera, that would have been the main feature. Like, oh, well, Look at our competitors. They're selling phones with 12 megapixels and like 8 megapixels. Wow, we're out here selling a phone with 200 megapixels. That would have been a huge thing. But we've quickly come to realize that megapixels don't tell the entire story. A lot of it comes down to post-processing and software implementation, all of that stuff. But from the first impressions, they look sharp, contrasty, again, very Samsung-y. The low light definitely looks improved. There's definitely improvement in video, which I'm going to have to test. There's like 8K at 30 frames per second. There's a pro video mode, which is looking pretty good. Overall, I'm excited to try out the cameras. But again, for me, what the Ultra's camera has for me is basically the zoom. Like I just love the zoom, especially if I'm going on vacation, which when I do, I bring the Ultra with me. Because if I'm going sightseeing, I want to take a photo from far away, I end up using the camera's zoom, and it comes out really well. So overall, I'm excited to try out the cameras. Again, there's no more camera rings. That was like either you really like the camera rings on the Ultra or you really don't. I personally like the camera rings on the Ultra. I don't know why some people didn't, but hey, to each their own. Anyway, the battery life, or not the battery life, but the battery and the charging speeds. The battery capacity is still at 5,000 milliamp hours. Let's just take a moment to think about that. 5,000 milliamp hours. Now, I think Samsung has been at the same capacity since the Galaxy S20 Ultra. Galaxy S26 Ultra, that's 6 years. Like since 2020 on to the 7th year by now. And it's like, we're still at the same battery capacity. Hopefully with the efficiency of the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 and then the addition of having a privacy display, which will hopefully help with battery life as well and software implementation. Hopefully we get better battery life in the long run, but the capacity is the same. So hopefully it's going to help. But the upgrade comes with the charging. It's now capped at 60 watts wired. So that first rumor way back that was like saying, 65 watts, that's not a thing. It's 60 watts. It's still a meaningful bump. Samsung does claim up to 75% in around 30 minutes. And a lot of people, including myself, I end up charging my phone when I wake up in the morning, like especially if it's wired. And at this point, like I'm just going to charge it, with a wire, throw it, plug it in, get ready in the morning, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and I should be all set to go for the day, right? That's what a lot of people do as well, unless you use MagSafe, which give you a moment. But wireless charging is up to 25 watts with the Ultra. Its little brothers get less wireless charging. And then there's wireless power share, so reverse wireless charging is still here. It's not the improvements that I personally wanted to see. Well, I got a portion of it, so we got faster wire charging. But the battery capacity is still the same. And I mean, Samsung wanted to keep the same, like keep a slim profile, which they probably could have if they used silicon carbon batteries, but they don't. Anyway, Qi 2 charging and the magnets. None of that here. Samsung says they just want to keep a slim profile. I mean, yes, but I don't know. Like, I would have liked to see it. Now, Samsung did state like 98% of users end up slapping a case on it, and their cases do have that magnet. So technically you can use it with MagSafe compatible accessories. But it's just like, there are times where maybe I'm in the minority here, but like I use my phone without a case, especially when I'm at home. I don't like using my phone with a case at home. I know it's probably like, I can still drop it and, scratch it and maybe crack the screen and whatnot, but I'm careful at home and I'm not outside. So if I drop it on the floor, it's carpet. It's not, and it's happened before. It's not like it's going to crack the screen or anything like that. But I don't know. I just would have liked to have seen Qi 2 charging and those magnets. Would have been nice to just throw on, because there are people, even though you're saying 90, what's the other 2%? There are people that still use their phone without a case. And for those who do, just put it on a MagSafe charger and you're all set to go. Or throw on a MagSafe wallet like I have and you're all set to go. Anyway, moving on, we do get just the regular things, obviously, as expected. IP68 dust and water resistance. We're getting, the 5G support. Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6. Again, flagship level specs, there's really nothing missing. This phone, S26 Ultra, will probably last years to come, as well, its predecessor will too. Now, it does come with 256 gigs and 512 gigs of storage. That is with 12 gigs of RAM, and then 1 terabyte is going to be with the 16 gigs. So if you want to pay a premium and to get that extra RAM, then go right ahead, but I don't know. Anyway, Samsung clearly is kind of focused that this is the Ultra. Those who want heavy workloads or have that heavy workload, you go for the Ultra, especially when it comes to AI and video. But Galaxy S26 Ultra, it's not a radically different phone. It's not trying to shock you. It's Samsung refining what already worked. And there's those memes out there where people are saying like, oh, well, Apple's been recycling the same iPhone design for years and years and years. Well, the same is true with the Galaxy S20, I'd say S22 Ultra. With the S22 Ultra, up until now, it's kind of been small refinements year over year and just slight changes to the design. But for the most part, it's been essentially the same feel. It's been an Ultra. And I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, I don't really need a new design every year. I'm pretty sure many others don't either. They probably care more about like the inside and the specs and things like that. And that's what the Ultra should be. It should be the best of the best. While, yes, long term we'll see how well the performance is, I think the Ultra should still have the best numbers. And that includes the battery capacity. Have the best battery capacity. Make it truly an Ultra. I mean, the Plus has a 4,900 milliamp hour battery. Just a 100 difference. There's a difference of just 100 milliamp hours. Where is the Ultra in that? So, even though we talk a lot about how Apple's keeping the same design and blah, 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 Samsung's the same. Samsung, in that regards, is the same. They're keeping the same design. That's fine. But they're still improving in categories that maybe we don't really think about until after they've released the phone. Some features that they add, I'm like, oh, well, that's pretty neat, especially when it comes to like AI features. But, we're going to get good brightness, better efficiency, better charging, smarter software. I think that's the most important thing. It's going to be a much more capable and smarter device. But if you're a power-hungry user and you just play lots of mobile games, you're getting a redesigned vapor cooling chamber, so that's going to help better with heat dissipation. And Samsung is also focused on that. That also does play in terms of performance. So just with my first impressions, I'm thinking if you're coming from like a Galaxy S23 Ultra or older, I would say like maybe consider, unless you're happy with your S23 Ultra or 22 Ultra or whatever. But if you're looking to make the upgrade, then you'll probably notice some pretty good improvements. If you're on an S25 Ultra, even a Galaxy S24 Ultra, I don't think it's worth upgrading. Again, unless you want to, go right ahead. But I don't really think I wouldn't recommend anyone who has those phones to upgrade, because phones are so good that we don't need to upgrade. In fact, before I sat down to record this video and get work started, I was in an Uber, and the Uber driver was using a Pixel 5. A Pixel 5 that released in 2020. And I asked him, hey, how do you like your phone? I mean, this phone came out in 2020. How has it been for you? He said, well, it's been great. It still works, still runs really smooth, and he has no intention of changing his phone. A phone that's 6 years old, and I don't think Pixel 5 has, or Google supports the Pixel 5 anymore. But that says a lot. That says a lot. Phones are lasting longer and longer. People are holding onto their phones longer and longer. With the Galaxy S26 Ultra, I think the phone has been really polished, and I think polished matters. So stay tuned. I am going to get the Galaxy S26 Ultra hopefully real soon, and when I do, subscribe if you haven't already. Lots of content about this device, more deep dives about this device is going to come to the channel. And also, I did finally drop my wallpaper pack right here. It is called Aura Layers. Links will be in the description down below if you want to check it out. It's finally here, so for anyone interested, please check it out. It goes a long way in supporting the MTG business, the MTG brand, Thank you all so much for watching this first impressions or listening to this first impressions. I hope you guys did enjoy. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you all in the next video or next time you guys want to listen. Take care.